And we're live. We are live. It is Spence. It is Friday. Hard to say this every time. It is the 20. Oh, no, sorry. It's the 19th. I almost did it like one more week. It's the 19th of July, 2024. Adjusting my mic. I hope you guys are well. I'm going to go ahead and double check first thing that the audio is working here. It is working. I'm getting better. Congratulations for me and everybody here. I'm really, really happy to see everybody. Good morning, Chris. I'm going to turn on a light, maybe improve my lighting a little bit. Look at that. That's a little too orangey. There we go. I'm really getting the groove here of the setup. Actually, I'm going to put my camera so I can sort of look up at you guys. I'm getting the groove of the setup and loving it here on the ranch. Thinking of calling this the Launchify Ranch, WP Launchify Ranch. But today I'm going to talk about a subject that comes from probably, oh, hey, Sharon. By the way, good morning, Chris. Good morning, Sharon from, I'm hoping, drier Galveston, Texas. I've been reading of your unfortunate week down there with the weather, and I hope you're doing much better today with the cats. Here in the ranch, we have in Chicago been getting amazing weather as well, where it's sunny and bright all day, then it dumps a tornado and storm. But being close to the lake, not as much trouble as South Texas, no hurricanes. But this week, couple things I want to remark on. Number one is that it's been a record for me of people who have come to the launch kit, both from a professional standpoint as agency owners, as well as site owners, as well as companies who have been using it and been my loyal fans and clients and everybody coming on board and understanding the concept. And one of the things that has come out throughout all of these conversations is that almost everybody has been using an email product or a CRM. And many people actually are successfully unaware that there is such a thing as a CRM. They just know they've been using something for email. And I'll give you some examples. Like I have a large contingency of people who are yoga studio or Pilates studio owners or Pilates or yoga teachers. And they have been using a software product for years called Mindbody Online, where they were just told use Constant Contact. I have a lot of people in the spirituality business who use Constant Contact. Constant Contact would be like moving in with the Flintstones in 2024. It is an email product from another generation, and it works perfectly well to send email, but it has very little, if any, resemblance to what a modern CRM does. And so today, for those kinds of folks who are otherwise open to the idea, and we've basically been having conversations about what we can do and what we can't do, I want to show you how easy it can be to dump your CRM, whichever it may be, dump your email product and move to what we're using in LaunchKit, which is FluentCRM. And I'm going to go through all of the reasons why, but let me give you a little sneak peek. Sneak peek goes like this. You've got to, I'm going to switch this because I don't need so much of, I need more of me and less of the screen. Let's see. Let's go to this mode. I like this. Okay. You've got a box in WordPress for yourself or your clients that you own and control. Makes sense. Spence acts as your concierge to make sure that I buffer you from all the shenanigans, like the things that happened this week when WordPress 6.6 came out and broke the living daylights out of a million things. None of my clients had problems because of that buffering. In other words, having Spence on point, acting as the concierge in the bottom of the Four Seasons Hotel, I made sure that all the drama happening on the streets never bothered you sitting in this, luxurious, wonderful bedroom with room service and everything else. And Jake, thank you for that comment. I'm going to come back to this point about gravity forms and fluent forms. And Sharon, I agree. Thank you. That's why we're here. So I'm going to come back to these. I love that the people have opinions already. You guys are already on board with this. But so imagine the situation where WordPress 6.6 comes in, breaks a bunch of stuff. Those people who've been already familiar with using some of these components understand that owning and controlling everything in a box removes a third externality from the two that you can't get away from. The two that you can't get away from is number one, you need to have an outside gateway, right? Nobody is in charge of managing credit cards. That has to be through Stripe or another gateway. I hesitate to mention PayPal because I would not recommend PayPal, but like through Stripe or another gateway. Number two, you need to have an SMTP/SMS delivery service. That's just the way the world works. The US Postal Service has to come and get your mail out of the box, or an authorized carrier. Similarly, you need an authorized SMTP intermediary like a SendGrid or a Mailgun or Amazon SES. I actually like SendGrid because you can also kill two birds and get Twilio for SMS services. So those all require special rules, special authorization. You need to have an intermediary carrying that mail for you. But that manages with our setup to do your transactional emails as well as your marketing emails. The third externality, which you can get rid of, sip of coffee, is you don't need to use an external CRM anymore. Now, through WP Fusion, I have been blessed to work with Jack for all these years. WP Fusion, we support almost 60 plus external CRMs. The big names, Salesforce, Infusionsoft, HubSpot, even the quirky ones, Pipedrive and Nation Builder and High Level and all the rest. They all have one thing in common. With the exception of High Level, all of them penalize you, tax you for your success because they charge you as your contact list grows. Number two, they lock you into a gilded cage, whether you realize it or not, because you are putting yourself and your clients' most important asset, which is the history of all your customers' behavior, into a SaaS service. Where look at what ActiveCampaign did last year. They doubled down on the evil and quadrupled or tripled and quadrupled their pricing. Other companies, like you see this year, 2 months ago, maybe not even, Adobe decided to say to all their SaaS customers, hey, guess what? We own all your data. If you don't like it and sign this new terms of service, it's all going to go away. And what are you going to do about it? Guess what doesn't happen when you move the CRM into the WordPress site that you own and control? Even Uncle Spence has no effect on your ability to move and go anywhere. I have no effect. In fact, I give you the tools in your launch kit to make copies of everything you've got at that moment and have it up and running in 3 minutes anywhere else. Last night, I did move, by the way, Sharon, yes. Last night, I was in the middle of the night woken up because I'm 58 years old. And I was notified that there was a quirky Windows-related bug that totally took down half of the world who uses Windows and uses this particular type of security layer, mostly airlines and car booking agencies and things like that. And the reason that happened is they all became dependent on this one company having a driver that ran on Windows. And it was an update that some clown at their, I don't know how that happened, decided to release an update of a driver on a Friday afternoon. Rule number one of developers, never launch any new things on Friday. So everybody went off on their merry way. And this caused all these airline and car company computers to reboot into blue screen of death. Now, that's what's happening now with a lot of the CRM companies, with a lot of the SaaS companies. They are either doing things that are not honoring the respect of the relationship they have with existing customers as humans. They are not honoring their promise on pricing. They are changing things because they feel they can and you have no control. But yet a lot of people are still putting their stuff into them when you have a choice. Now, I'm not born yesterday. I obviously depend on lots of externalities myself. But here I'm saying the whole conversation today is going to be about we have a better choice that's in the stack of WordPress, that's included in the kit, that I fully support, that I have a first-person relationship with the development team there that makes a bunch of other components. Everything about this screams, you need to use this now, like yesterday, for yourself and your clients, because it's better, cheaper, faster. It allows me to act as your concierge, your buffer. It allows me to give you creative things that you couldn't do. It improves and fixes all of the old problems, and you don't get penalized for growing from 0 clients or contacts to 1 million. How does that sound? I mean, this is like one of those jokes that there's a punchline. There's no punchline. Okay. let me move over to the fun today, but I first want to say a couple things. First of all, Sharon, I hope it gets drier. Chris, MindBody Online is a great example, of course, of one of those things that when you get into a niche industry, everybody just says, oh, I don't know what to use. What should I use? Okay, great. Because people are not supposed to be tech oriented. They need somebody they trust, which is what I try to do here. And again, yes, MindBody Online has a captured audience that mostly comes from the 90s, early 2000s, and they're doing okay on it. But the missed opportunities we're going to talk about today. Jake, I want to just review this Fluent CRM versus Gravity Forms. I'm going to get into it. Gravity Forms is fine. Carl Hancock is a colleague of mine. He's been around forever. But I'm going to show you why Fluent Forms trumps Gravity Forms if you're using this setup. There's just a million different reasons, not the least of which is the direct integrations. But the second is just even things like the styling and the UI. I was a little disappointed, even though Gravity Forms is awesome, at how clunky the quote update was in terms of the WYSIWYG design tool. If you've got it included in the kit, I'm already giving you all the Fluent Forms Pro stuff. So there's no financial reason not to give it a shot. And yes, all the rest. And yes, I did move to my new place, and I'm going to jump in here, Mailgun. And then, okay, Funnel Kit, Fluent CRM. So James, welcome aboard. Glad to see you. I'm going to talk specifically about Funnel Kit versus Fluent CRM because, see, I am the author of Launch Flows, which the story behind that, if you may or may not know, I was originally pals with Sujay Pawar and Adam Presser, and they asked me to help with cart flows. When that first came on the scene, I went in there, I helped out. I didn't like the way it did things because it hijacked too many of WooCommerce's processes. So 5.5, 6 years ago, I wrote Launch Flows, which does exactly what I needed to do. I've spoken many times. The job of the CRM should not be mixed together like Funnel Kit does with the job of the sales funnel or the transactional engine. They need to work as integrated but separate features. I'm going to show you why I think that's true. Funnel Kit is not something that I would say you can't use or shouldn't use. Don't use it. And I'm going to show you why, because Launch Flows with WooCommerce does better. Sharon's throwing all this stuff out. I love this, by the way, Sharon. I'm going to talk about Shore Cart 2. All right, I don't want to detour on this, but I'm not being helped today. I'm going to make a comment when I show you the integrated ingredients. See behind me, I've got IKEA. I've got this IKEA thing I've had forever, okay? The reason IKEA and Lego blocks work so well, Lego blocks 80 plus years, IKEA's got to be 30, 40 years. It's because they don't just throw in 9,000 things. Every time some shiny ball comes around, they don't just throw it in. No. I spent the first 18 years or so of WordPress helping people with Frankenstein monsters and shiny ball syndrome. In fact, the number one thing that I did was memorialized forever in the reason that I do so well with helping people, because they have got Frankenstein monsters or shiny ball syndrome. And that is to say, every time a new toy comes along, they go, oh. If one is good, four is better. If I've got this, I should add that. And guess what IKEA and Lego blocks don't do? They don't just allow people to throw like a block of wood in and carve it into a chair, and they don't allow you to melt plastic. Somebody there makes a conscious decision. Do we already have a component that does the same thing better so that people have less parts to break and so forth? Okay, I'm not going to detour. I'm going to get to the point. The point is, when it comes to Funnel Kit, when it comes to WooCommerce, when it comes to SureCart, all this stuff, we've got the parts we need. They're the best of the parts. I'm constantly changing and evolving as necessary to smooth out things. But we don't just randomly throw in stuff. Those days are over, because you cannot manage to be successful in WordPress with that when WordPress itself is breaking the hell out of the back end literally almost every day. Okay, let's jump. Let's do this. You guys are very patient. Normally, I don't take this long on the start, but okay. I have got my handy dandy demo here, and I'm going to move me out of the way a little bit so I can talk about it. All right. So when it comes to the CRM, first of all, I am using Launch Kit. Launch Kit, for anybody, and there's a few new faces in here, which I love. Launch Kit is my free solution that launches anywhere on any server instantly, in order so that you can have the amazing WordPress administrative experience you deserve, that changes the nature of what WordPress is doing and turns it more into a service instead of a flea market. And one of the free capabilities that it does is there's some key components that everybody should enable when you install the plugin for free from the repository. So in case you just literally came here the first day, it's a free plugin. It's available in the repository, installs instantly through any means you want. So you could launch this literally with the InstaWP. You can launch it on your server, your host. Just install the Launch Kit plugin. And when you do, you'll be able to put your fun to work. The things that I always do are just enable all of these options first. That does things like, for example, an elegant and simple way to hide the unbelievable number of notices spray painted all over the bridge of WordPress, right? Endless, everywhere. Number two is it gets rid of the capability of the individual activation wizards to keep pulling you away from the plugin manager area. It gives you a tool, as you'll see, to install, manage all your pro updates and everything in one spot with no licenses required. It essentially disables some of the plugins that are nonsensical that try to phone home. It essentially smooths out the fact that it's not going to be notifying you and your clients of all the scary WordPress is breaking your site kind of messages. Just essentially makes WordPress into the silent tool. And to add a little icing on the cake, you can also make it white label. So essentially, if you choose this option, Launch Kit disappears from the menu as well, right? Which is be super cool when you got a client site. Notice it's always available, but it will disappear when I save that from the left-hand menu here. Okay. So it just for free gives you a lot of tools, and there will also be tons of other value in the form of some of the packages that we'll be offering will have all of the free stuff, or what I'm going to be launching today is what I call my $1 can't beat it offer. So I'll talk to you about that in a second. And by the way, James, thank you very much. Check the recording at lunch. And thanks for showing up. Look forward to hearing from you afterwards. Okay, so now we've got our installer. What I've done is I've checked today just to make sure we're on the same page. I use the installer as a buffer. And this is something that I want to just emphasize real quick about for the CRM and otherwise. Here's why. It turns out that the WordPress 6.6 update did cause some problems with the email capability of the FluentCRM plugin. With LaunchKit, I have two areas in the installer: the plugins being tested and the plugins available to update. This is my way of saying you can check your site right here to see what might need to be updated. But if it's still showing up here and it's not down here yet, that means that I need to give it a little more run through to make sure that there's nothing naughty. Most of the days that happens the same day, but these folks have been working hard. There's 88 plugins in here, pro and otherwise. They're working hard at 24 hours a day around the globe. I mean, I do have to sleep sometimes. So probably this will get updated today. And when it does, it'll show up below, in which case you could just install the latest version independently. Or you could do like I recommend to most people, just install all the plugins at once. Because installing them does not change their status of being activated. And there will be no harm from having the latest version of all the plugins if only some of them are activated. All right, once that's done, let's talk about the CRM. The best part about having the FluentCRM on board is you can manage to set up a custom dashboard any way you want. One of the tools that I love that's asked about all the time is, what if I have a team of people working for me and I'm using Constant Contact, or I'm using ActiveCampaign, or I'm using Salesforce, or I'm using Infusionsoft? Well, guess what? Those people have to learn how to use that other tool. Give me a break. They're already going to be familiar enough to use WordPress, and WordPress gives us to this direct way of customizing whatever it is that you want to have happen in the same tools you're using for publishing blog posts or making pages or doing anything. Why would you choose an entirely different interface with an entirely different set of tools? It'd be like if somebody learned how to fly a certain type of airplane and they got certified, and then you're like, well, I need you to fly this other type of airplane, right? You're flying Boeing, now you got to learn Airbus. Or you learn how to drive a European car with the driver on the right side, and I need you to learn to drive on the left side. Why would you do that? You can do it where everything is here in the dashboard. So a couple of the things that allow you to control that is, first of all, if we go to the settings, you can, I'm not going to go into great detail about this, but you can set up managers. And each manager in Fluent in WordPress can have different criterion, what they can see, what they can do. So you choose a user and you say they can just do everything, or they can only do some stuff, right? They can manage your CRM dashboard, or they can check out your red emails, or they can manage your forms, or whichever combination you want. And this is not role management. This is legitimately controlled at the level where it needs to be, which is at the CRM. So you get the full ability to do what you want yourself, but you can also build a team of people, freelancers or not, who help you, all built into the same spot. Okay. We talked about dependency on the SMTP. One of the cool features is when you use an external SMTP, and I use SendGrid, but you can use anything you want. It's as simple as just grabbing the key and putting it in place. You'll notice this red little doodad up at the top. When I click on it, we go over to Fluent's SMTP, which is the plugin that I use to manage what is going to send the email from this site. When you come to LaunchKit, I've already got it set up with a placeholder. Okay, no big deal. And we've got this feature here, disable sending your emails. This little doodad right here. Let me see if I can highlight it. Can't highlight it. It's down here on the right. Disable sending all emails. What this does is the moment you get LaunchKit set up, you can immediately be testing stuff, and all of your email will end up in a log where you can see what it was. I'm using last week's LaunchKit, so I can probably see some of the emails. So anything we do or send will end up, here's Ringo's welcome email, just as if it had been sent out. But this allows us, along with the checkout being set up, to give you the full experience of what your site will be and be set up in minutes instead of days or weeks. But when you go to set up, what you do is really simple. You would just either add or edit the connection. So if I had a SendGrid account, I would choose SendGrid. And here I would just say, who is it from, right? In my case, be held at wplaunchify.com, Spence. And then I would just get the API key from SendGrid, paste it in, save it, I'm done. And I've done documentation for all of this stuff at wplaunchkit.com documentation, if I can spell. And just type SendGrid or SMTP, okay? And you can see step by step exactly what to do. Could not be easier. Okay. I love the fact that we're now using a qualified intermediary instead of some specific CRM service or some hosting company for sending email. Now, here's a question that I was asked this week that's a little complex, but I want to mention it. A lot of people get confused when they're talking about domain name versus SMTP. If you buy a domain name, which you should, wplaunchify.com, that is hosted at your DNS host. I happen to use GoDaddy. I do not like their business practices at all. They're scumbags. They're always constantly trying to trick everybody into doing stuff. But they are undeniably the best delivery service for DNS. What does DNS mean? It means they have a set of records, and your DNS host should be the ones holding this, not somebody second or third position down. They're the ones that when somebody types your domain in, they're like the yellow pages. They respond back to say, oh, Spence has set up his records so that that domain name is located here. And it points to wherever you have your hosting. They also hold your MX records and some other validation records for DKIM and SPIF and all this stuff is too complex that validate that you, in fact, are authorized to send that email or receive that email. And so by using them, I can make sure that anything associated with the domain name of whatever I'm using, WP Launchify, gets through, gets directed. But that's different than the mailman. Now, the postal service itself, let's say I move to a new house. I register, Spencer Foreman is at this address here in Chicago. The mailman needs to use that info. But when the mailman actually goes to get the mail out of my box or deliver the mail, that person is acting like the SMTP service. They need to double check. Is this Spence? Is this one of the businesses that he runs that's like here? Should I deliver this mail? Should I pick up his mail and take it back for processing? And the reason that that's different is that that's a service that's independent of your domain name, but they still need to use, first of all, your domain name to validate that you're authorized to send or receive. And second of all, they actually are the ones that are trusted by the other services. So the postal service can walk around and deliver mail and pick up mail. Any Tom, Dick, or Susie cannot do that. They would be suspicious, and probably the cops would pick them up if they were dipping their hands into the mailboxes and stuff. In the same way, you need a qualified SMTP service to deliver your mail, and they do a better job of it than if you get stuck with some janky hosting like POP3 mail or, PHP mailer. And they also do a better job because they're the ones that understand marketing. They're very strict about what you can and cannot do, and they are essentially vouching for you. So, sum it up. Instead of having your relationship in one gilded cage with an SMTP and a CRM service where, oh, sorry, Spence, you're naughty, I decided to turn off your whole business today. Doesn't it make more sense that in the situation I'm showing you here, you have segregated out the services from your own ownership and control of the customers and the data and everything else. So let's say you have a bad day and you do something wrong and you piss off the SMTP service you're using, like SendGrid. Guess what? You can simply reconnect another service and nobody's going to know or care. There's dozens of them, right? I mean, when we go over here to settings, I was trying to point out that instead of getting into one cage with one company and having multiple things, that 1, 2, well, that's generic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's probably 10 independent companies and 2 sort of generic services here. Any of those you can move to in a second, which is what happens. So, takeaway. Keep your domains separated from your SMTP services and everything else. Keep them separated, by the way, from your regular email. Like for me, I use Gmail or Google Workspace for my mail, but I use my domain on that. I don't merge them together. I do not buy from GoDaddy Microsoft 365 as an email package. Never, never, never would I do that. Never should anybody. Number 2 is that you connect your SMTP service to your WordPress site through something like Fluent SMTP, because now you can get your transactional email, like somebody just bought something, along with your marketing email. FluentCRM is doing an automation. All right. That was good. I'm fine. Let's go back. So FluentCRM works in conjunction with a lot of other integrations. The first one I want to talk about is WP Fusion. Now, WP Fusion is a plugin that is essentially the USB connector between all of the components in your WordPress site and, if you wish, the outside world, but primarily the things in your site and the CRM. Now, here's something that many people have caught on to, but I'm going to just come out with it. If you think of most CRMs, the other 59 or so, as being outside of WordPress, WP Fusion makes complete sense as being sort of like your transceiver between those two worlds. Like, in other words, I'll be a little bigger. In other words, ground control to Salesforce. This is WordPress. I've got a change in my contact profile for Spencer Foreman. So it sends the information about what Spencer did or clicked or bought or did, subscribe to on the site with tags or custom fields, sends it up through space to Salesforce or HubSpot or ActiveCampaign or wherever. And now the CRM reflects that. Unfortunately, the realities of that being like a remote satellite service is you have to set up what's called a webhook or an HTTP request on the CRM if you change something there that you want to have synced back down to WordPress. So let's say somebody on your team that you trained to use the second interface is now updating Spencer's profile at the CRM. Unfortunately, you have to set up an automation that says, if this is the type of thing we want synchronized to Spencer's WordPress profile, at the end of what he does, there needs to be something triggered that goes, that's right, yes. These are my kids, by the way. I have 3 kids, Sharon, remember. That there needs to be a webhook or an HTTP request that you set up that sends down. What a pain in the ass. What a pain in the ass. With Fluent, you don't have to do any of that. So what we have inside of the WordPress site when we're using Fluent plus WP Fusion is WP Fusion provides, if you think of it this way, all of the connectivity things, but with none of the need for API calls or webhooks. And in doing so, there are some instances where I specifically smooth out which tool to use for that job. Like, for example, let's go back to the screen view. When we're inside of products, If I want to know and track that somebody bought or subscribed to a specific membership or product, I create a product. And when I do, let's just use this one I had from last week. When I do, I can say, apply a tag when somebody buys this or subscribes to it. And if it's a subscription, I can say, take that tag away. So here, for example, in WP Fusion, LaunchKit suppresses the Fluent CRM option here because it's too confusing. Otherwise, which one should I use? If you think of like, well, what if Fluent was an outside CRM, what it would look like? Well, we wouldn't see Fluent here. So we just use WP Fusion, and WP Fusion does a multitude of other really important things. So we need both of them in place. So here, I purchase this product, I get a tag, purchase lead magnet. That tag gets synchronized to Fluent CRM immediately. No waiting, no sticking around for anything to happen, immediately, so that it's available for automations. If I was in a subscription product, I get the further benefit of I can take that tag away. See, remove tags, remove original tag if a subscription's canceled, put on hold, expires. So what does that do? That means that a subscription product in WordPress can act as a sales funnel with launch flows. By the way, here comes the funnel kit stuff. Why do you not want funnel kit? Funnel kit is trying to do this unbelievably complex array of other things that hijacks the sales process, hijacks the CRM process, tries to get into what other tools are already doing inside of one container. The product. We've got WooCommerce, we got the product. For Sharon's benefit, yes, Adam and I drink bourbon together. Yes, SureCart is an awesome, cool product. I am looking into things I can do with Adam or with that product, with LaunchKit. But you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to start running away from WooCommerce, because WooCommerce is the #1 most used e-commerce plugin in the world right now, and the biggest plugin in WordPress. So while Adam has 30,000 people, many of them are free and doing extremely well with Sujay on all of his businesses, I'm not going to start saying, well, let's start selling those things over in IKEA unless I do it as a special one-off deal, because we've already got this figured out in WooCommerce, and WooCommerce works with everything under the sun in the universe, all the services. It is the standard. It is the USB cable. We are not dumping this to start doing SureCart or North Engines stuff. I mean, there's 3 or 4 companies trying to beat WooCommerce at their own game, but they're going to be always just little pipsqueaks compared to WooCommerce. Okay. And by the way, Adam is brilliant, so I have no complaints about SureCart. I'm just saying we don't need membership plugins either, because we can do it with tags. So here, for example, somebody buys a subscription or subscribes to whatever, a subscription. They get a tag, purchase lead magnet. If they stop paying or cancel or put on hold, we take the tag away. Guess what this tag is doing? It's in their CRM profile in Fluent, and it's available through WP Fusion in every aspect of the WordPress site to control access, to change visibility, to conditionally display things. Launch Flows manages the step-by-step sales funnels, because here in Launch Flows, if somebody wants this product, we say, where do you go after you add it to the cart? Where do you go after you've purchased it? And in doing so, we can even set this product up with special description data that has a direct link to whatever they're supposed to get after they're done. I know you're not promoting SureCart, and that's okay too. Adam is well known, because I know you mentioned Cartflows. Adam is well known, so is Sujay, because they're huge in our business. And like I say, I personally hang out with them, and they use our products otherwise, like WP Fusion. What I'm saying is, can't be distracted by shiny balls. Cannot be. My primary function here with Launch Flows, LaunchKit, WP Launchify, has to be essentially the voice of reason in a flea market that says, we can't just use all the stuff that's being sold at the flea market. Nobody can have WordPress as a service if that happens. All right. By the way, I normally drink my coffee earlier than the show, and I think the fact that I'm drinking the coffee, I'm just really riled up today, which is maybe good for you guys. Okay, so let's see what happens. If I have a product, this I called the free lead magnet product, but let's change this a little bit. Notice, by the way, because I was being asked by James, there's all these features in Launch Flows that allow you to set up every product can be a custom sales page, which is awesome. You've already got a product. Why not turn it into a custom sales page? And what I mean by that is literally you can just dump in place any design you want, and it becomes the design of use. And we've got over here the ability to have a direct checkout link that has programmed into it all of the information that we set up about this product. So I could sell this product from anywhere, anytime. Let's change this into a paid subscription product. And let's see what happens with regard to the CRM and everything. Okay. Because this is why it's so awesome to work in one space. I'm going to open up the site editor here too. Paid subscription product. Simple subscription. Let's just set it up. It's $100 every month. I could have a custom price string that said, get it now, just $100 a month. Cancel anytime. I could customize the launch flows button text and stuff right now if I want, but I'll just use the standard WooCommerce. And I could enroll people in a Learn Dash course if they got it, if that was one of the things I want to do. Here with launch flows, I am going to use this instant clean sales page just as a starting point. And I'm using the original template. And I'm going to take them to the thank you page when they're done instead of to a custom lead magnet like I did last week for that product. I could change the look and the feel of the image and all the rest of that stuff. But like for right now, let's just say for a tag, I'm going to say, let's give them example tag 2. Or I can make a new tag if I wanted to just start typing, which is another benefit. By the way, working with WP Fusion, working with Fluent, watch. This is a new tag. I can just dynamically create the tag here if I wanted to. I'm going to use example tag just because I know that exists. All right, I'm going to save this. Now, here's a couple examples of how cool this is. If I were to go ahead and buy this, and by the way, now I have my site manager, so I can just log back in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do two things. I'm going to show you, if I looked at the sales page as is, I've just streamlined it using launch flows that I can just sign up now and it's ta-da. But if I wanted to customize this, watch how cool this could be because I'm using all the same tool. I can take the patterns of anything I want to do for like a sales page, right? Something simple, something complex. Let's just go. This is just a really nice layout using Cadence stuff. I could take this, copy the pattern code, go over here, and watch what I do. This is, here, edit product. Watch what I do by not having too many other complex things like funnel kit. I don't need to have special sales page builders. I've already got WordPress and Gutenberg and Cadence already used for everything else. So any page on the site or any link can become a sales page. I go to launch flows. I switch here to blank template. I will choose a layout that's probably going to look good, like full width, unboxed. I'm going to disable the padding, disable the stuff at the top, paste that in place. Now, because I'm using all the same parts from IKEA, look, it looks exactly the same. So now all I need to do is grab the link direct to checkout for this particular product that I've set up. Remember I talked to you about it. Copy that, and I just say, buy now. Or subscribe now. And I add this link onto the button. Okay. Could this be easier? I do not think so. Now, why is this an advantage over funnel kits? Funnel kit has all these other custom post types, has all these other visual toys and all these other tools and all this stuff. We don't need that because we've already got FluentCRM for the CRM. We've got sales funnels through launch flows. We've got WooCommerce. We've got WP Fusion. We've already got the tools all working in one spot, the product. Ta-da. And I've already shown in other videos how you can link and save and manage like all kinds of funnel A to B to C to D things and track them without having to have all these toys. That's another framework. The fact that FunnelKit is owned by a company that does a lot of naughty stuff doesn't make me happy either, but that's not my main point. Okay, so let's take a look at this page now. Now we've got a gorgeous sales page that will do the purpose of what we want. Let's copy this. I'm going to log out of this site now. So I'm incognito. Let's get a new rock and roll star. I'm feeling very Rolling Stonesy today. Now that I'm logged out, let's pretend I'm coming in. I want to subscribe now as a new person. This is definitely feeling Mick Jaggery. Okay. And Mick can use this payment method. Here I'm in demo mode, like I said, already set up. You don't have to do anything in order to test stuff. Mick should be taken to the thank you page where it will show what he has bought. He will be registered and logged in. He will get a thank you that he can go wherever he needs to go that I have told him to go, right? So in this case, remember I showed you a moment ago that this could have that little link below it that would go to start lesson 1, Mick, or whatever. But I can also just logged in as Mick. Go to my account dashboard because I'm already logged in. I've got the account. And what happened is the Fluent CRM has the tag example 2 for Mick. I'm going to show you. So here's my subscription. It should be in here. I can cancel it. I can change it. It's all easy. I could see my orders. Easy for Mick, easy for me. Everything is great. Okay. I got payment methods, which I don't know if it saved it. Yes, it did save my demo. Okay. Let's go out of Mick again. And I'm going to use this. I'm going to log out as Mick. All right, I'm going to close this window, and I'm going to use this to log back in as administrator so that I can get back in fast instead of switching screens around. Let's see what happened on the back end. If we go into Fluent CRM and we go back to contacts, we will see, I hope, Mr. Mick Jagger. As all my best of laid plans, something happened. I think the reason is I need to just finish the order. So let's double check. There's always a wrench in my live events, but that's okay. I work with on a net. Here's Mick's order. Let's double check my settings because under all circumstances it would happen. I think the reason that I'm being fooled is that, see the email address is I didn't change my test address there. So that could be the reason. I think he may still be in there. I just looked for his name instead of his email. Let's double check. So if we go over here to the Fluent CRM again, it's thrilling to work without a net occasionally. Here it is. He's here. I just didn't change the email to mick@jagger.com. Now, what have we got? We've got Mick is on the main list. He's been switched from a lead to a customer because he bought something. We can see when he got added. We can see every single thing we need to know in the dashboard. And as I suggested, your team members who are working for you or with you can check all this stuff out too. We see his whole customer history here. We see that he made a purchase here with WooCommerce and which product it was. Okay. We see it's a subscription when it ends and cancels. If you need to reach out to him, Fluent has a built-in capability of using support tickets, or if he's moving through a high ticket sales process, we can create a task on our Fluent board that says, call Mick now. And we put him onto whatever board we've created. I don't have a board. And then the sales team can get on the phone and move him along. If there was something that I have to say to Mick ad hoc instead of in an automation, I could click here and just make a note now. Call Mick later today about blah, blah. And then I put something in here and create it. It's now associated with his profile and it could be part of whatever. Why is this cool? Let's review. This is, Sharon's helping me out here. You could do this with a free version. No, you can do a lot of this with a free version. You can do this with when you're a Launch Kit member. So let's say if you're a Launch Kit member, I'm going to shameless pitch of what I do for a living. There's 2 flavors of Launch Kit. Okay. If you go to my pricing at WP Launchify, there's Launch Kit, the standard one, which has everything included. It has all the software, a Rocket.net hosted optimized site as an option, and it has unlimited Spence emails. It's a big value. The emails alone are the value. But for some people like yourself who are professional, Launch Kit to Go is the software that unlocks everything that I've shown here. So for you, Sharon, Launch Kit to Go. And when I say unlimited, you get it and you can use it with all of your clients. Every single one of your clients gets this experience. You go and install the Launch Kit plugin on your site through any mechanism you want. It's a free plugin in the repository. When you do, let's log out. Let's say you're Sharon Yates and you are a longtime customer. Instead of Test Meta, You type your login to WP Launchify, where guess what I'm using for this? I've created an API endpoint that uses my FluentCRM to validate whether you have the tag that you have LaunchKit to go or LaunchKit regular. And when you log in on any client site, you'll be able to go ahead and do this exact experience. Install all the software, manage all the software, get all of these features, which is the whole point. So for $47 a month for all of your customers, no support from me directly, but you get all the stuff. $97, you get unlimited emails to me, which I know more than anybody. You know, you've been with me a long time as a client and a colleague. Spence, how do I do this? What do I do that? And that's where minute recipes come in. Minute launch recipes is my new metaphor of why do I need to repeat, like I've done I just showed you some documentation, but wplaunchkit.com documentation. I've got detailed instructions of everything using the very same tools to create this, right? Like, how do I do a directory with LaunchKit? Well, here's the recipe. Like when you go to IKEA, how do I set up my kids' bedroom furniture? Or what should I buy for a kitchen, right? This is stuff that I'm exceptionally good at. But now that everybody has the same ingredients in the fridge, that IKEA has the same ingredients people can use, the guy here with the yellow vest can help out. Minute Launch is the modern version of this. With AI's help and otherwise, why do I need to repeat everybody's instructions when they're all using the same ingredients? Instead, here's a recipe for a membership site that can be set up in a minute using LaunchKit on any of your client site. Just follow 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have a need for more information, you can click on one of the details. But all of these will also link to the full instructions of the ingredients makers, because I don't need to repeat all of their stuff. And if you have a question, hey, Spence, I'm following the LaunchKit recipe for this thing, and I don't understand what I'm supposed to do here. No problem. Because you're using only my stuff and not some cockamamie mix of SureCart with FunnelKit with blah, 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 I can answer your question and hundreds of people's questions every day, just like the IKEA guy. Because when you go to IKEA, you don't go, I bought a couch from John M. Smith Furniture and the legs aren't working. And the person will look at you like, what's wrong with you? This is IKEA. So that's the idea. Standardizing, simplifying, concierge experience, everybody with the same ingredients. I act as a buffer. We use the CRM as the CRM. We use launch flows as the funnel component. We use WooCommerce transactional engine. WP Fusion is the connector. All the parts fit together. It's so exciting to me because this is 20 plus years. You know it because Sharon, I met you probably 12, 15 years ago. This is just like version 3 or 4 of what I've been doing for 20 years, but we finally have all of the parts. All right, let's talk about some other advantages. Deep integration with the other things like Fluent Forms, because the question was asked about Gravity Forms earlier. So yes, you could still use Gravity Forms. No big deal. Why? Fluent Forms is better and it's in the kit. Here's what I mean. I think I still have this from last week, but we did something like onboarding. Sharon, I love you. These are great questions. And it's almost like I couldn't have thought of better questions. You can customize the products with any page builder you want. You can use custom post types because that's built in either through ACF or CPT, which we build in. Do not use pods. Pods is like, I know you've been around forever. Pods is like Dino the dinosaur in the Flintstones. Use, please, CPT UI, ACF, use the dynamic capabilities of what I show you to use with Cadence. Why? Yes, you could still mix and match your old thing in there, but I just got done saying why that's a bad idea. If you accept a teeny tiny bit of adjustment of your tools and apply all of your skills and knowledge, and you've been with me since 1WD days, then what happens is you don't build your own Frankenstein monsters, and you acknowledge this. Yes, I know you love it. You are a Frankenstein builder galore, but guess what? You're killing yourself with this, because if you go to IKEA, everything you need is at a fingertip for one member card and have some nice lunch. You keep throwing in Frankenstein parts from the flea market, and you're forever going to be on the hook when stuff breaks. Every single one, and you're very successful, I know this with clients, every single one of your clients has got a Frankenstein you made instead of it being standardized. Okay, high fives. Good girl. All right, so we've got a situation here where we could use the deep integration of Fluent Forms for Gravity Forms has this, by the way. It's not like they're on it, but to integrate onboarding somebody, register and log in, just like we did with a paid product, but for free. So the cool features that I like, there's a few of them. Number one, the interface is superior. I'm sorry, but it just is. Fluent Forms has the same kind of experience as all the rest of the stuff inside of WordPress, and it's logical. Like one of the things Gravity Forms is mind-blowingly, unless I'm wrong, and I could be wrong, and I'll give you a pony. But even as the last time I checked, you still have to use a class in order to do something like make a container for 3 columns, which to me is just absurd. Like, I don't even understand how that works. Here, you could just drop a 3-column container in and put your stuff into it. Okay. Besides that, there's no real tangible difference other than everything else is Fluent. And here's where the customization comes in. So here I've created a user registration where the deep integration with Fluent CRM allows me to set up the things that I want to collect, first name, last name, email. And then with the integration of, let's say, the registration component, I'm able to register, log them in, give them the same experience as buying a product, except do it in a way that also gives them tags and all the other stuff. So if I go down here, I have all the tools. I mean, I'm doing this for the benefit of those who are asking. Like, I can set up this form with all the kind of restrictions and conditionals and so on and so forth. I can do double opt-in, blah, blah, blah. The user integration. Selly, by the way, I love that name. Selly rhymes with jelly. You do not need CSS here. You could use it, but you don't need it. I'm going to show you why. I love that question. So I'm going to show you while I'm in the Fluent Forms, which work directly with Fluent CRM. I'll do this while I'm talking about this other thing. So I'm going to come right back to you. When we go into the user registration, I'm going to show you something related to that question too. So here's the feed that I've created that allows me to take somebody who submits this form and makes them a user. And in doing so, I like to use their email as their username. There's a lot of reasons behind that I've talked about for years, but that is the one piece of information somebody can give that's still reasonably private, but it's authentic to them. And in the future, you'll always know who they were versus they make up some crazy name and then they change it. And you have 50,000 customers and you have no idea who's who. So I use their email for username. I let the password be set automatically because they're going to be able to click and be in anyway and reset at any time. And then I can give them a tag or do other stuff with mapping fields. But in this case, I just want to make sure that I allow them to be logged in after registration. That's this bit here. Okay. Here's the coolest thing, the landing page. Now, I can embed this form into my style of whatever Gutenberg stuff I'm using. And in that case, it will pick up the styling, Selly. It'll pick up the styling of the underlying page. So I'll show you if I was to take this and I made a new page, any kind of page. Let's do here, add new page in new tab. Just by embedding that Fluent form, it will pick up the style, the colors, the scheme of everything around it, which is awesome. So I can either do Fluent form, and I can choose it from the drop down, which is one way to go, user registration, in which case it'll just pick that up. Let's try it again here. Okay. / Fluent forms. I can choose the form. Okay. I'm not sure why that's blocking, maybe because I got the other thing open, or I can just embed it with a shortcode. Okay. And in that, in that sense, it works just as you'd imagine, like Gravity Forms, no big deal. But you'll notice all of the aesthetics are being picked up by the underlying theme. Gravity Forms does that a certain way, but not always perfectly, and especially with the weird stuff like the buttons. Now, let's talk about that customization. But before I do, let me show you this landing page. If I enable this landing page, what's so awesome about this is I've got an instant way agnostically to customize and show this one thing anywhere I want with a link. So let's say I don't like the blue and I want to make the background red. I don't know why you would. Let's make that gray. Something like that. Nice and light. Okay. And let's say I want to add a really cool title on the register now for free. Okay. I save these settings and now look what I've got. I've got a link, copy link address that no matter where I go, I put it in my YouTube video, my Canva. Yes, this is one of my favorite things because here's why. I use it at 1WDTV. If somebody is one of my happy customers, I give them this link. Have I helped? Guess what Uncle Spence is using? The very same tool. Because why would I bother with embedding in a page? Yes, I can embed it in a page. Yes, I can make it look cool. Wait, I just showed you, all right, great. It looks cool. But I got to make a whole page to hold this thing. Like, what a pain in the rear. Why do I need that? So I love the landing page option. And then last, to answer your question, see where it says custom CSS JavaScript? You can just customize stuff here if you're familiar with CSS or JavaScript, and it applies to this form only. So it's really pretty awesome. Okay, well, here's the neat thing. Sharon's question about paying for stuff. You never have to buy software again. You pay $47. You get your launch kit to go because you're a pro. I mean, you can pay. You've had paid consultations with me in the past. You can use this for unlimited email with me. That would be awesome too. Or you can even launch your client sites. But again, I know you're an expert in that regard. $47, you get every single thing you need, plus all the custom updates and this interface that makes your whole world of WordPress amazing, because it also prevents things going on like what just happened yesterday. So I'm going to come back to this in a second. But like yesterday's meltdown didn't happen for any LaunchKit customers because I was acting as a buffer, and LaunchKit, like I showed you before, allows the person to have control instead of giving control to WordPress's updater on when and where and how their client sites got updated. So everybody on LaunchKit was protected and buffered. And if they had questions, they could ask me. But 3 or 4 people said, Spence, what happened? Why did my email interface break? And I was like, because Fluent had an update and it's in the updater. Just click on it and you're good to go. Okay. So back to here. What happens when somebody uses this new landing page form? Let's go back to incognito mode. I'm going to copy this link. I'm going to log out again, now that I can log out. Okay, so I'm going to log out, and now I'm going to just do Keith@richards.com. This now means that Keith is submitting a form. He will be given the tag. I'll have all the data about him. A contact will be made inside of WordPress with the awesomeness of the CRM I own and control. And I'll be able to do any automations I want from there, which I'm going to, with a couple minutes that I got left so I don't keep you guys all day. Notice Keith is logged in. He's in the dashboard. He's ready to go. I could take him anywhere I wanted. I'm going to log out of Keith though. And I'm going to log back in as me so I can show you. I'm proud of myself for figuring out a way to do this without having to start and stop the screens. Okay, let's go in our, first of all, let's go to Fluent Forms and we'll see that there is an entry in there. So if it was true that it was valuable to you to know for a time certain or forever who submitted forms, we've got all the entries segregated and you can filter on those. And this interface is awesome. It is awesome compared to Gravity Forms and other stuff. I mean, Carl's got a great product. He's got no incentive. He's got millions and millions of users. They can't break everybody's stuff because they've been around since forever. Fluent is not so limited. And they're very open. Shah Jahan and the rest of the team are very open to my suggestions and otherwise because I work with them directly in this regard. So here I've got the form entry, but even better, I would never look at it there. I would just go up into my Fluent dashboard. So I go to the Fluent CRM, and I would probably put a short code for this, like up here next to LaunchKit, which we give you the tool in LaunchKit to do, called Admin Menu Editor. So here's Keith. Notice he's still a lead. He didn't buy nothing. Oi. He's on the main list though. Now I didn't give him a tag because I just registered and logged him in, but we do see here the form that he used to get in. And that's enough. Now, automations. So amazing in Fluent because It's all in one dashboard. After free registration, automation. Look at all the tools and toys I've got for triggers. The CRM, the bookings, Fluent Boards, LearnDash, WooCommerce, whatever. The traditional CRM is enough, either when they're getting added to my main list, because I only use one list, or in this case, when a tag is applied, could be the trigger. I could also do it based upon something that they did with the forms, right? So new form submission. Let's use this bad boy here, okay? After Keith or Mick registers, first of all, I'm going to say which form. He used the user registration form. I'm going to map the fields, first name, last name, email. I don't need to map that because it's already been mapped, but in the event that you wish to do it, you can actually use this, okay? Now, I can do other data as well, and I can also change the subscription status. This is not subscription for like a paid product. This is subscription to your list. Like, do they want to be getting emails in the future from that list? Now, why do I do this? This is a trigger. Now I need an action or a condition or a goal. I would typically, in this case, wait because I don't want to bug him. He's busy. He just got all those other emails from whatever I'm just sending him to see. I'm going to wait a day. Look at how fun this builder is. Like, you don't need funnel kits. You can build your automations here because all of the actions and the triggers, the goals, the conditionals are all available with WooCommerce. What if I want to do a goal that says we got to wait till Keith buys something? Okay, we've got a goal, order received in WooCommerce, or tag applied. Remember, we had that product. Let's do tag applied, but you could do order received. Tag applied. Remember, I said the tag that if he bought that product was example 2 instead of purchase lead magnet. So we're going to sit around waiting, and we are going to make this that it is not optional. It is essential that this thing will not move forward until or unless he does this thing. Okay. Now, the difference between a goal, or what we would call a benchmark in the old days, and a conditional is a conditional is a decision tree. It could be yes or no. Keep going, man. A goal is sit here until this thing happens, but optionally, if it happens through another means, we'll let you go. And so in this case, we're just going to have them wait around forever because we didn't give anything else, or we could put some other things on. But the bottom line is, because I'm not going to spend all day on this, look at all of the amazing things we got for triggers, actions, conditionals, benchmarks, goals. It's all here, and we can use all of the stuff that you would normally expect, like I was just referring to. Did he buy or she buy this, that? Was it for this amount of money? Did they spend greater than $100? Why do you need funnel kit? You don't. Launch Flows manages where people go when they're buying. They can get an order bump, an upsell, a downsell, cross-sell. They can combine products. WooCommerce is the one place where that happens with the sales pages that can be customized. You can use that link inside and out. You could track the person's progress through your funnels with the CRM you've got that works with other components. Do you see how this is all coming together, you guys? I know you do. Instead of random ingredients from random places, this is like IKEA and Legos, where anything you buy at Legos works with Legos. Anything you buy at IKEA works with IKEA. Finally, this is huge. Own and control. Uncle Spence includes into this whole concept. From the moment we have a relationship, you or your clients own and control your whole site. So I include in LaunchKit this package capability. This is a twist on the built-in free Prime Mover plugin, but we bypass the freemius and all the other stuff. We don't ignore it. Like, you could still pay freemius if you want, but like, we make it that the tool works as it should without you having to stop off at freemius. You could start with one of our pre-made packages, make your own packages for your clients, TV dinners, from all of the same ingredients, the things that you always set up and sell to your clients, you can have ready to go, where somebody either in your own dashboard just clicks and uploads, and I'll show you where once these upload, ding, 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 or you can use your remote URL because you sell it on your own sites, and you just have a URL of a package that uploads. And when you do, you or your clients, like Sharon says, she's the one that does the updates, can restore that package. Any of them, the whole site matches up. So simple, so fast. But the best part is, all along the way, from the moment our relationship starts, okay, You are the one that can take this anywhere, anytime. So when you're on my 97 a month, Rocket backs it up every day, once a day. You can leave anytime. Just go to migration tools, and you can use another plugin, but it's built in. Create an export. Because you're using the same ingredients, you don't have to back up all the ingredients. So just the database, or if you do have, let's say, images uploaded, database and media only. You don't need all the other stuff. Single site. This will be a file that will turn out to be about 8 to 9 megabytes, depending on how many images you have. It could be bigger. It'll end up in your package library, like we just talked about. And you can then download it and use it anywhere, or you can save it online. Like here, download. This one is, look, 9.7, 4.3. Okay. Download it, save it on your Dropbox, save it on your Amazon, whatever. It doesn't make a difference. You own it. You control it. Finally, licenses. I get this question all day long. You don't need licenses for any of the software in the kit. You don't have to pay for anything in the kit. All of the support, all of the updates comes through your relationship with me. Legally, morally, ethically, this is the new WordPress, because the software has always been free. The companies that are doing naughty stuff are trying to make something open source into something that they sell as closed source, and that's wrong. It's morally, ethically wrong. It's wrong legally. The code is the code for everybody to use. Your concierge is delivering you the code and all the solutions in a comprehensive way, just like WordPress was always intended when it was founded. And since I can avoid this problem, I bought a part from this guy and this guy and this guy, and they're all like, I don't know, they are the ones that are at fault. When you call Uncle Spence or you're on the launch kit thing, the concierge says, it's cool. Just this is what's going on. Press this button, or this is what's documented, or the situation we've smoothed out. And then you can focus on doing the amazing, cool stuff that we've also created and turned into things like patterns. One more example of this for your CRM or otherwise. Maybe you want to have an awesome custom layout or page. This is built with Cadence and Cadence blocks, but since it's integrated with the same parts, it functions with the sales funnel or the CRM. We have hundreds of really cool examples of things that have been documented in all the live events over the years. And all of this is easy because you're using the same stuff. If you weren't using the same stuff, then every single time one of the pieces changes in WordPress, you are stuck with a Frankenstein monster for yourself and all your clients or your agency or your business that you have to be in charge of fixing. And guess what happens then? Then you call me up and I charge you $300 an hour, like I've been doing for 18 years, to come in and fix your Frankenstein. When you're on LaunchKit, it's $97 and you have no problems. Sharon, if you ask one more question about what else you can use it for, I'm going to give you a hug. You can use anything you want. Here's the rule with LaunchKit. I give you the tools. I give you what I'm telling you about. Stop building Frankenstein monsters. And you can build Frankenstein monsters all day long, because exactly what I was just saying is going to happen. You use it and you say, Spence, something weird happened. I don't know why my site isn't working. And I go, oh, let me take a quick look. And I see, oh, you've got bricks and breakdance in there. I go, I'll help you with everything except for bricks and breakdance. That's exactly what'll happen. Or you pay me $300 and I'll spend an hour trying to figure out what's wrong with your bricks and breakdance. But when you're using the kits, the parts from IKEA and Lego blocks, and I've got everything you need figured out, and you adapt to, I'm going to build a business where I don't worry about this anymore. It doesn't, these are actually, I love your questions, by the way. Clients are not in charge. You're in charge. I don't care if clients ask me for, I want a trip to the moon. I yesterday spent 4 hours on the phone with clients where I said to them, no, you're not going to do it this way. No. You know why? Because I know better, being in the WordPress ecosystem, I know better that in order to build an efficient business with AI and all the tools changing every day, we can't allow the clients to tell us what to use. And if they don't like that, then you pay me $300 to help you out when the client wants you to be having them tell you what to use. I love the question, but this is actually a really good question about what's the difference in the philosophy. If you go into the Lego store and you go, oh, my kid and I melted some plastic and it's got these weird diagonal shaped connectors and it doesn't seem to work with my other Legos that have round connectors. Why is that? they're going to laugh in your face. And I don't mean your question is bad, but like, you have to be in charge of your clients. We've been talking about this forever because you've been from day one, how to talk to clients. You are the concierge. You know better. If they don't want to do what you do, say, okay, every time you have a problem, I'll charge you $350 because I got to pay $50 to me and $300 to Spence to come help me out or whatever. Or you just get them on the system and they never have these problems anymore. High five, by the way. I love that question. That's awesome. Okay. So to sum up, I wasn't sharing the screen through most of this stuff. So I wish I was on the screen. I was trying to show you, by the way, I realized I was on this screen here, which was consulting, $300 an hour. If you still want Frankenstein help, I offer it a la carte. I do have these great sprints, which are more efficient when we're working with the kit, but going with Launch Kit, either method, gets you out of the business. I love you too, Sharon. And you know I love you because we've been friends and colleagues for a long time. You started as somebody on my old system. You've seen this whole thing come into fruition after all of these years. All right. I want to thank everybody. This has been a really great one. To sum it up, Launch Kit in the to-go 47 a month or the 97. Risk-free. It's money back guarantee. Everything you need, plus the concierge experience, all the software, unlimited email, even the hosting with a Rocket partner. Now, I promised there was going to be a real cool twist. I've been working with Rocket, and this will work on any hosting, but there are certain hosts that do things right and do things wrong. Rocket has a very generous 30 days for $1 setup. I'm going to be putting together something that allows you, even better, to sign up for Rocket and give this a try with Rocket hosted for $1. What does that mean? It means that even though I include the hosting with Rocket into the $97 a month, there are folks that might want to get the $47 Launch Kit to go, but they'd still like to experience the $1. Like, wouldn't it be cool if I got the hosting thing? Now, you still won't get unlimited email from me if you do the 47, but like, that's okay. The idea for me is that I could give you the setup for free. So what if I said you got Launch Kit to go for $1 for 30 days? Be super cool, right? Because I can give you Launch Kit. The hosting is $1 over at Rocket. You're going to give me $1, by the way, too. So it's $1 and $1, but $2, I guess it's fair to say. But the bottom line is we all win because you don't even have to try my money back guarantee here, although I wish you would, because the email with me is typically where all your great answers come from. And when I mean great answers, I literally answer the question like directly to the point, put you in the spot, give you the links, usually make a Loom video. That's one of the reasons I think I've been able to do something that other people haven't in WordPress. Everybody asks me, Spence, why is it that nobody else is doing it? It's because I love people. I love talking to people. I think Sharon can high five on that one. And over the years, being in the relationship business is what we all should be doing in 2024 with the robots on the way. So I have 50,000 relationships. I don't have them all like labeled here. These are all paying customers, okay? And it's because I love learning about what you're doing. I love helping you. I love making solutions so that lots of people can win in a world where other people, even in WordPress, are treating you with a lack of humanity, a lack of dignity, a lack of respect. It's open source software. We should all be having WordPress as a service delivered by somebody who helps us to all make more money up and down the chain with our clients and customers so that we can help more people on this planet where God knows we all need to start helping each other more. And I'm a capitalist through and through, but end stage capitalist where big companies win and everybody else is starving and hungry with knives in their hand is not a win. We all need to win in a way that is humanistic. That's my preaching. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I want to thank everybody who's been supportive of this idea, who's come on board. If you have questions, it's a free call. I'd love to talk to you. See you on the next video.